Hello, welcome to And Then the Clouds Break, another vlog, another walk in the countryside. Hopefully now you'll notice I've got a selfie stick and a microphone, so you no longer have to be looking up my nose. And also hopefully you get to see a little bit of the amazing countryside I'm walking through at this moment in time. Thank you everyone for you that have watched, liked, commented or subscribed to my vlogs to date. That's been really encouraging and I appreciate greatly that. I'm also now on Twitter with the handle of Then Clouds. So if you can follow me on there, you'll see bits and pieces that are popping through my head at the time. I said I wanted to do a bit of a community feel to the channel and was happy to take challenges and take questions. I have a challenge lined up, which I'm absolutely petrified about. But I've had some questions and some comments too, which have been brilliant. So the first question, where did And Then the Clouds Break come from? It's quite a personal story and one that is quite deep for me, and I'm going to try and make sure I don't spend too long talking about it really, because I could talk for this for ages. As I said in my first vlog, it's the anniversary of Mum passing away. And Mum had a form of Parkinson's and dementia, and nothing quite prepares you in life for seeing your parents and loved ones go through such a painful process, and nothing prepares you for having to go and feed your mum when she's in a care home, and actually to reassure her that the things she's seeing through her Lewy body dementia weren't real and weren't actually there. So when Mum passed away, within weeks, my dad, who was severely disabled, was diagnosed with a form of cancer. As a result, I didn't really grieve, and I did what most blokes do. I screwed it up into a big ball and tried to press that emotion down, so I could be better able to cope with supporting Dad through a really difficult time of decisions around his treatment, and getting through that, which he did. But at that point, I was sent for a dyslexia diagnosis assessment. And I was diagnosed with dyslexia. With dyspraxic traits. Now, a dyslexic assessment, they can't tell you you're dyspraxic, that has to be a medical assessment. In reality, doctors aren't going to want to diagnose a middle-aged man who's lived with dyspraxia all his life and has got by pretty well. But however, when you look at the traits, it makes perfect sense to me. So, whilst I'd always wondered why I didn't really fit in certain environments and why things that other people seem to find quite easy I found incredibly difficult, I came out of the assessment with both my fists tight, very, very angry for 48 years that I had been treated on and off pretty badly because of something that I had no control over. You know, at the end of the day, dyslexia just means you think differently to other people. And neurodiversity affects between 10 and 20% of the population. I'm hardly alone. And I've forged a pretty decent career of it, but when at school in the 70s and 80s, I was told I had to stand at the front of the class and read a book until I got to the end of the page to the class, and I couldn't do it. The times when I used to go to Sunday school and I was asked to read out bits of the Bible and I couldn't do it. The times in the work environment where I've been told that I'm lazy, I have a bad attitude, I'm work shy, I'm disorganised, you know, all classic dyslexic traits, and those of you who are dyslexic will absolutely know how that feels. So it felt like a double whammy. I started to make some initial inroads into changing my life and thinking about how my life could be different. But actually, my dad's illness, my mum's death, and the fact that I hadn't grieved meant that actually there was a huge blackness within my life. A blackness that really consumed bits of my life. So I would say things like, hey, I'm dyslexic, and it's a curse, and I hate it, etc., etc. So it really affected my self-esteem, and it really put me into a place where I had to start challenging how I saw the world, because how I saw the world was different now, whilst the diagnosis was just a confirmation of how I've always felt, I was really struggling. I had to cut weeks off work because I just simply couldn't get on top of this. And then I decided that I would take a month off work, unpaid during the summer. Had 2 fantastic weeks away on holiday, spent some time with my daughter, but really to start processing what was going on and what I wanted from my life, I suppose. Given that I realised that however hard I try, there were certain things I won't ever be good at. There were certain things that I will struggle with, and equally there are things that actually I will be fantastic at, that I probably don't spend enough time doing, so I should do more of those things. But all that led to a cloud, and it felt like a cloud. And those of you who've had depression and anxiety, I'm sure you understand what that feels like. But then I was looking for that pinprick of light, and actually then it came to me that actually I was looking for the clouds to break and the sunshine to pour through, which it did during that month off, where I thought about what I wanted for my future, and decided that actually living a risk-averse, conventional life wasn't making me happy. Doing the 9 to 5, commuting for 3 hours a day. Came out for my week away, my month away on holiday, and looked in my hiring manager's diary and noted that he had a free slot in the afternoon, and I went in and said, I think I'm going to quit my job. Because during that month I'd had a number of signposts, a number of signs had come to me, chance phone calls, different to the one I mentioned in the previous vlog, chance phone calls, chance encounters, chance emails, and I was actually receptive to seeing the signs that were coming to me. And the signs were that I needed to escape an environment that was not going to be good for me, because of how I am. So, had the meeting, and in fairness, he was very supportive. Wanted to check that I was doing it for the right reasons, I was comfortable doing it, and I handed my notice in. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to earn a living, but actually I felt fairly confident that it was the right thing for me, and I worked very hard at having faith and confidence in my future, which is still an ongoing battle. So really that was part of all this concept of where then the clouds break. There's a song which has a verse in it which says, and then the clouds break, a ray of sunlight glorious, as if a promise, some strange kind of euphoria. And that really hit home for me, that we are looking for, or I was looking for, something more than I had in terms of just, I guess I knew I was settling. And actually the whole dyslexia diagnosis was letting the cork out of the bottle, and was almost in a way a very, very freeing experience for me, because I couldn't work out why I couldn't fit, and I couldn't work out why I couldn't do things. And I will do a vlog at some future point in a bit more depth about my experience of dyslexia and dyspraxia, because I had a couple of people contact me and say, hey, I'm dyslexic too, which is great to share that. So that's how I arrived there, and I now have a tattoo, which is my constant reminder about the clouds breaking. So if it's a bad day, I can look at my tattoo. If I'm running and it's getting really painful, I can look at my tattoo, and it just reminds me to start thinking about challenging negative thoughts that come into my mind, because I have been in the past incredibly negative. So this whole process led me to discover, if you like, a lot of great material that I hadn't really thought about previously. So I discovered some great podcasts by the likes of Rich Roll, Dave Goggins, John Joseph, to name but three. I rediscovered groups like the Bad Brains that talk about PMA, so positive mental attitude, a lot. And I also discovered things like Napoleon Hill, which really are things to help me keep in check. Now I understand that because of all the years of programming and all the ways that my mind has gone unchallenged about how it looks at things in a perhaps a half empty way, I am always going to have to guard against that. I'm always going to have to keep fighting that fight. So every day it's going to be a challenge in terms of not lapsing back into that negativity and to that darkness. And honestly, I've had a few dark days in the last few weeks. And I guess part of vlogging is helping me to process that, accept it, and accept that I'm dyslexic, and accept my strengths and my weaknesses. And actually, probably it's harder to accept my strengths than it is to accept my weaknesses right now. And really give me that opportunity to push forward and achieve the most that I can achieve from my life. And I have to say, there was a few times I wondered if I'd voiced whether I'd been diagnosed as dyslexic in the 80s when I was at school, what difference that had. Well, actually, in some ways, I think that probably would have had a negative effect, because I didn't see it as a barrier. I just threw myself out there and I found my way. And I look at my career, and I've had a career that, to be honest, I'm hugely grateful for. And actually, probably had the career I've had because of my dyslexia, not despite it. That was a really long answer, and I was trying to avoid that, but I guess that was a certain inevitability about that. And actually, my dad died a couple of months ago, and this whole process of then the cloud breaks really crystallised at that point, really, and everything came into sharp focus. That actually our time here is brief. You know, I'm walking through woods here. There's probably trees here that are, hundreds of years old. I won't live to be hundreds of years old, so we need to make the most of that. I want to make the most of my time here, and to ensure that I've enjoyed it, and I feel that I've put my best in. I hope you can get through to the end of this vlog. And I hope you've enjoyed some of the countryside you can see scrolling past me. One of the other questions I'll just tack on the end here is that somebody asked if I can provide some links, etc., in the description for things I've mentioned, so people can do some further research, which I think is an absolutely fantastic idea, and I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I didn't. So hopefully, down beneath me, there will be a few links that you can click on that might prompt you with some good thinking and some good reading. Have a fantastic day, and I'm going to have a fantastic walk. Cheers then, bye.